Deep in a vast, lush forest, flowing gently by the banks of Lazy Creek, lived two adorable little bear brothers. Their names were Bıdık and Tombik. Bıdık was the quick and curious one, always zipping around, exploring every nook and cranny of their woodland home. His brother Tombik was a bit different. He loved his sleep, and his movements were calmer, more thoughtful. But despite their differences, they shared one enormous passion, honey, to them. Honey was the sweetest, most wonderful treasure in the entire world. They would do just about anything for a taste of that golden goodness. One bright morning, as the sun peeked through the leaves, Bıdık was on one of his usual adventures. While wandering deeper into the forest, something caught his eye. In the hollow of a gigantic ancient tree, a glint of pure gold shimmered in the sunlight. His little bear heart started to race. He crept closer, his nose twitching with excitement. And then he saw it. His eyes widened in disbelief. It was a honeycomb. But not just any honeycomb. This was a massive, magnificent honeycomb, bigger than anything he or Tombik had ever dreamed of. It was a true treasure trove of sweetness. Without a second thought, he spun around and shouted for his brother, his voice echoing through the trees. Tombik, Tombik, you have to come here. Right now, I've found a treasure. Tombik, who was enjoying a peaceful nap nearby, grumbled and stretched. He slowly ambled over, still rubbing the sleep from his eyes. But the moment he saw what Bıdık was pointing at, his sleepiness vanished in an instant. There, nestled in the old tree, was the most glorious honeycomb they had ever seen. For a moment, they just stared, their mouths watering. Then, pure joy took over. The two brothers started hopping and dancing around the tree, celebrating their incredible find. This wasn't just a snack. This was a feast. This honeycomb could feed both of them for days and days. Their tummies rumbled in happy anticipation. But, as quickly as their joy had arrived, it started to fade. A problem arose, a big one. They couldn't agree on how to claim their prize. Bıdık puffed out his chest and declared, "I'm the one who found it. So, I should get the bigger piece." Tombik, shaking his head, immediately retorted, "But I came to help you. And besides," he added, patting his round belly, "I'm bigger than you, so I need more honey to fill me up." Suddenly, the two brothers who were just dancing with joy were now glaring at each other. Both of them wanted the entire honeycomb for himself. Their happy chirps turned into low grumbles. "It's mine," Bıdık insisted. "No, it's mine," Tombik growled back. The grumbling turned into pushing and shoving. As they argued, they bumped against the tree, and the huge, precious honeycomb wobbled dangerously in its hollow, threatening to fall and smash into 1,000 sticky pieces on the ground. Their greed was about to cost them everything. Just as their bickering reached its peak, a soft, hooting voice floated down from the branches above. "Hoot, hoot, hoot! What is all this commotion down there, young bears? Why are you making such a racket in this peaceful forest?" Bıdık and Tombik stopped their squabble and looked up. Perched on a high branch was the wisest and oldest resident of the forest, Wise Owl. His large round eyes blinked slowly behind a pair of tiny spectacles. Ashamed, Bıdık and Tombik took turns explaining the situation to Wise Owl. Each brother tried to convince him that he was the one who was right, that he was the one who deserved the honey more. Wise Owl listened patiently to both sides, nodding his head thoughtfully. When they had finished, he adjusted his glasses on his beak and looked down at them with a gentle expression. "Ah, my sweet little ones," he cooed. "From what I can see, you both have a point, too. Both deserve this wonderful honey. But look what's happening. By fighting like this, you risk losing it all. If that comb falls, you'll both go hungry. Have you considered another way?" The brothers looked at each other, confused. Bıdık muttered, "What other way? If we share it, I'll get less honey." Tombik shook his head in agreement. He didn't like the sound of that either. Wise Owl smiled a knowing, kindly smile. "Sometimes, my dears," he said softly, "having a little less is far more valuable than trying to have everything. Sharing isn't just about dividing what you have. It's also about multiplying the love and happiness in your heart." Bıdık and Tombik stood silently, letting Wise Owl's words sink in. They thought about it. Fighting was making them both angry and upset. And if they broke the honeycomb, neither of them would get any. Maybe. ... Maybe sharing wasn't such a bad idea after all. The idea of eating honey together, peacefully, started to sound much better than fighting over it. Finally, Bıdık sighed, a little reluctantly. "Okay, fine," he said, looking at his brother. "Let's split it evenly." Tombik, seeing the change in his brother, felt a wave of relief. "All right," he agreed with a nod. "Evenly it is." Working together now, the two brothers were very careful. They gently and skillfully split the giant honeycomb right down the middle, making sure each piece was perfectly equal. Then, they sat down side by side under the great tree and began to eat the most delicious, sweet, and fragrant honey of their lives. The golden nectar dripped from their paws, and as they ate, a wonderful thing happened. Honey was so sweet, so perfect, that they completely forgot about their earlier disagreement. All the anger and frustration melted away. They looked at each other, their faces sticky and their hearts full. A smile spread across Bıdık's face. "You know," he said thoughtfully, "this honey seems even more delicious now that we're sharing it." Tombik nodded enthusiastically, his mouth full. You're right, Nit. So much nicer eating with you than it would be to eat all alone." From that day forward, everything changed for Bıdık and Tombik. They became a team. They started to share everything they found in the forest. Sometimes it was a bush full of juicy blackberries they gathered together. Other times, it was the plump, wriggling fish they caught from Lazy Creek. They had learned a very important lesson from Wise Owl Day. They learned that sharing didn't just fill their tummies, it filled their hearts with warmth and joy. And just as the wise owl had told them, sharing had a magical ability to multiply love. From that day on, Bıdık and Tombik became known throughout the forest as the happiest, most harmonious, and best of brothers. Thank you so much for joining our little story time today. We hope you loved the adventure of Bıdık and Tombik. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for many more fun stories. We can't wait to see you again next time.